So when I shut down, it's because I've been interrupted. Like I'll breathe in. The first interruption, I usually breathe. The second, like I'll start saying something and it'll get like, cut off. Like it feels violent because it feels like a knife is coming through. Like he asked me for this happened with the heat thing because he asked me for my response. I started giving it to him and boom, it was like, and off, and he's like escalated already.
Okay, so let's just take this one place. Let's take this one place, because this is really a point where we can both establish, I think, a deeper understanding for each other. You just breathe into that. The preciousness on both sides. She experiences it as cutting like a knife. Now, of course, you're not experiencing cutting her like a knife. Of course, in your reality, you're not cutting Karen with a knife.
I feel really defensive when I hear her use languaging like that. It seems really extreme.
That's why I want to stop it. That's why I want to stop it.
Yeah.
Because that's a very precious moment there. And this is, if we can understand each other, there's no right or wrong. He did not cut you with a knife, and she absolutely felt like it's her feeling. It's how she experienced it. So what you're both coming to is an awareness that in your reality you have a particular process that you experience as passionate and dynamic, and you have a belief will lead to a fair result.
Mm-hmm.
And your process doesn't work for her. It's not that your process is wrong,
mm-hmm.
and it's not that she's overly sensitive.
I hear that.
This is who Karen is.
I am so pained that you experienced me that way. This, is more than anything, is what I cannot bear anymore in this relationship. That you experience me as so violent to you, when that's not my intent. And that you shut down or defend or stop the action or protect yourself in ways that I'm just trying to move forward with what's needful. And my experience.
Let me put forth. This is you guys are.
The fact that you experience it with such suffering on your part is gotten to be unbearable to me.
And it's unbearable because you both care.
Yes.
It's unbearable because there's love here. So I just want to remind you that when two people come together as you two have, you bring out the best and you bring out the most challenging. And so her wounding is a perfect storm for your way of being. What to you is process and fighting fair.
That we can agree on.
Right. And this is what happens in a couple. So when you recognize, okay, this is our perfect storm, one of two things happens. It either becomes so unbearable for both of you that you have to separate, or the other choice is, am I willing to change certain ways? And it is both ways. Am I willing, just let me hear this out, and maybe, I'm not pushing you to separate, and I'm not pushing you to stay together.
No, what you're saying is right.
I'm sharing your options here.
Yes, it's true.
This is the perfect storm right here. This is the issue.
It's a perfect interlock,
yeah.
Certainly.
So, am I, David, willing to really adjust my tone and my passion and my process when these things happen? And even though I have what for me is a very effective way of resolving things, am I willing to really tone it down and connect to her feelings and be extra gentle, extra sensitive? And at the same time, am I, Karen, willing to be honest about my feelings, be real about it? David, danger, I'm feeling it right now, come up with I'm feeling scared, and to try and keep it in a I'm feeling, as opposed to you're doing this to me. That's your part. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm feeling. I'm scared. I'm shutting down, I'm experiencing disconnection. And in that red flag, can both of you take that breath, slow it down, and connect in again before you talk about the issue? Can you create that safe space together so that you both trust that there's going to be time to hear your need to be warm and her needs to be efficient with energy and the other aspects of it? And you don't have to do this, but in order to stay in relationship in an intimate way that works and is joyful and loving, this is what the universe is saying. Are you wanting to sign up for this course in adjustment? You know, and if you are, then you too, the benefit is that the relationship can grow closer, and the price you're going to have to pay is both of you adjusting your way of doing things. And it's a good adjustment to learn how to make. And it's hard, because we both have 40 plus years experience of getting triggered and feeling scared and fighting fair. What to you is fighting fair. I'm just using that as
I know, but you know what?
thing.
This is exactly, I feel like you maybe in that characterization fall a little bit into her pictures about me in it. I don't, in my perception, I don't ever start there. That's where I get when I feel I've been trying in a reasonable way and it has been failing.
You know why?
Or
you know why you're
defeated.
perceiving that I'm kind of on her
Yeah,
side?
then
with
I
that?
start to get big, like, come on,
I'll
would
tell
you
you
just,
why.
why are you log jamming it? So I get
tell you.
very worked up and frustrated.
Because if we're not connected,
Right.
no matter how right you might be, it's not going to be heard. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that we've got to create the connection first.
Oh.
And the connection comes from the heart. And what I'm imagining
Yeah.
is in that moment, you're a little more in your head, she's a little bit more in her feelings. And what I've learned is that we have to pay attention to the feelings first before we can hear what the head has to say. So in that respect,
Is that true for everybody in your experience?
yes, when it's this dynamic, when couples have reached the point that they might separate,
When
yes.
couples are in a place that they're triggering each other too much.
Yes,
then
absolutely.
they
The
have to
feelings
back, then
have
they
to be.
address the feelings
Yeah, you
first.
got to start with the
That
feelings.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary for all people to make progress
No.
on the content that they're trying to move forward on.
But when it's this level, you've got to start with the feelings,
Okay.
and then get in touch with the needs, and then try and get to solution. You got to.
So hard.
It is.
It's too
It's
much
hard.
work. This is what I'm feeling in this now, is that I'm the first person to admit this is my edge, to not get worked up when someone's being what I would see as unreasonable, or
Right.
saying things that I think are just off base or
Right.
inaccurate or unfair, or
Right.
however I might
But see,
characterize it.
right.
For me to let it roll off my back and say, oh,
Well, you get
know,
to-
okay,
you get to
so
also say,
let me just try
"I'm
to
feeling
respect
frustrated."
that you're having some emotional experience, and this has been a great, skill to exercise as a therapist or an angel like you. But for me, just in my daily life and my relationship, it's too high maintenance. I don't know that I can change enough for you to experience me as not hurtful, and I don't like being experienced as so hurtful.
Do you want to ask
Yeah.
me a question, or are you curious about my response?
I'm curious if you have a response. Yes.
So I actually, my sense of it is that, it's like when it's like we're right on the edge of a breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in breakdown for probably over a year. It's like moving more and more into breakdown. And we've been in breakdown more intensely in the last couple of months. And hearing what you said about getting into the feelings made me realize that